We're going to move ahead now with another three-way trio with Ms. May, Mr. Scheer, Mr. Blanchet. We're going to go back to secularism later. We're going to keep with the theme of abortion. Mr. Scheer, can you commit to improving access to abortion despite your religious beliefs?
For the final time, I've always been clear on the matter. I am personally pro-life, but we will not change access to abortion or our laws. It didn't change under the previous Liberal or Conservative governments. It will not change with my next government.
I go back to secularism now. I have a question for you.
Oh, go ahead, please.
So I'm going to go back to the three-way debate. If the Supreme Court were to overturn the Quebec secularism law, part of it or all of it, in your opinion, would this revive the sovereignist option?
I don't know what the people of Quebec would do if that were to be the case. But for Quebecers, the notion of secularism, it's a progressive value that comes from the Quiet Revolution. It's welcoming, it protects, it's fair. It's fair for men and women. It's not something that is restrictive in the heart and mind of Quebecers. I appreciate that some say that it's up to Quebec to decide. Now, Mr. Singh, you're not saying the same thing in English and in French. And when we're talking about secularism, Mr. Trudeau speaks about New Brunswick and the right to abortion. Quebecers need to know that they will elect people who are in favor of secularism. The people who would lose before the Supreme Court, would they feel that this is an institutional lack of respect? Well, some might ask themselves that question. I'm convinced that is not the Legault government's intention, that it's not a sovereignist government.
I am the only person who has been clear on the matter. We will not intervene. It's not that we didn't only say we don't want to, we said we won't. That was my position at the very beginning, it's my position today, and it will be my position after the election. What is clear is that Mr. Blanchet's priority is to try and stir up sovereignism once again. He will work with the Parti Québécois the second the elections are over to try and lead to a new referendum. That's his priority, and that's clear.
I do not want to intervene either, but I think it's a bit strange in this federal election. I agree with Chantal Hébert, who wrote today that it is not an issue for a federal election. We've had a debate on Bill 21. I think we've talked more about that than the climate crisis throughout this election. And that worries me. I hope that Quebecers and Quebec as a nation will remain an inclusive society. I think that is an issue for Quebec and Quebecers. But right now, please, we have to talk about what's going to happen in the north of Canada, in the Arctic, people in the Atlantic region. What about farmers? That we haven't talked about it in the debates.
If we could just talk about this for a couple of seconds. Mr. Trudeau said something so strange. We're talking about Law 21, Bill 21, but he is obsessed with Ontario politics and provincial politics. He even put a hypothetical threat to justify his position, his incoherent position on this matter.
But he's not the only one who thinks about bizarre things, because you've just said something bizarre yourself. You are the one who I'm not Justin Trudeau. Let me speak for a few seconds here. You are saying that the Legault government is basically a pawn of a bloc strategy, and then we're going to work alongside.
Like to
it doesn't make any sense.
These kind of things. You
Last
claim
time I
being his
checked,
best friend.
October 21st is not the day of a referendum. It's a federal election. When Quebecers will say, do not send to Ottawa people
What
who
I
will
said is that you claim being Mr. Legault's best friend.
I've never said
You're
that.
hiding your true intentions. so that you can foment some more sovereignism in Quebec.
You're on the right way to help us achieve sovereignty.
My policy is to improve the quality of life of all Canadians, to reduce taxes and to make life more affordable. That is my priority.
Stop squabbling, please. I would like to speak a bit, please.
May go ahead.
Yes. So with regard to Bill 21, I think that all of the leaders have a problem because everyone is saying that at the federal level, except Mr. Bernier, that we're against the bill, but at the same time, we have to respect Quebec and court decisions. We have to wait to see what happens with the challenge that's ongoing in Quebec.